questions. And yeah, thank you, Tiffany. Tiffany in the comments said, this is such a cool idea. Thanks for letting us join, Conrad. And I'm going to share it out on social as well. So for this portion, we are focusing on the offer of what he's going to sell with his pre-order, because if you've been following me or if you understand the principles of profitable publishing, Conrad, and I'm going to share it out on social as well. So for this portion, we are focusing on the offer of what he's going to. Okay, sorry, got a little feedback there. I guess we're good to go live on YouTube. So one of the big components of profitable publishing and pre-order profits is that you aren't just selling your book, you're selling things outside of your book, you're selling things that are adjacent to your book, you are selling things that are in alignment with your book. So you're not just adding a bunch of random things to it. And I'm just checking to make sure that it's streaming. Okay, perfect. You're not just selling things that are like, oh, let me add little like tchotchkes and knickknacks. You are putting things in there that are going to elevate the experience for the reader, as well as help them to finish the book, because most people who buy books or order books don't actually finish them. And then also leave a review and recommend them. So those are the three areas that I try to focus on with clients, is to get people to read your book, to review it, and recommend it in the order that makes sense. And so, yeah, so we're going to take a behind the scenes look at that. We're going to develop his offer of what he wants to sell, and then the timeline to make that happen. And so questions that you have, go ahead and add them in the chat as they come. And then I'm going to share one more space and then we will get started. So let me let you introduce yourself, Conrad, actually, because I'm doing all the talking. So
would it be better to join from Zoom or what? Don't worry about it?
You don't have to worry about it. This is,
okay.
I mean, this is your day. So you
cool,
don't,
cool.
You're good. You just be here and talk direct to camera.
All right.
Tell them about yourself and about the book.
So, excuse me, Conrad D's, let's see, been writing forever. I wrote my first book at James Allen High School, if anybody, back in the 1900s, as my kids would say.
Wow, wow.
So this is, this book we're working on is called Smile When You Poop. This is the probably third iteration of a book about gratitude, how to be grateful when life is hard. Thought it was going to come out multiple years ago. And then I had to live it in 2024. And so, and then I thought it was going to come out at the end of 2024 as a different version. But so now it is, 2026 now, and it is time. So September 21st is the launch date, Monday, September 21st, that's World Gratitude Day. And so the goal is to have a World Gratitude Day experience, an event, a virtual event, potentially, haven't told Ashley this, just thought about this in the last week since we met. Potentially, we might do an in-person event.
Okay.
I have to figure out what factors will determine whether we go from virtual to, well, it'll still be virtual, but what factors determine if we add a live in-person component. So, yeah, so about me, husband, dad, writer, uncle, nephew, cousin, son, all the things, that's me. Ordained pastor. I have served as an assistant pastor, a Walt Disney World cast member, a security host on the Las Vegas Strip, a taxi driver on the Las Vegas Strip, et cetera, et cetera. Award-winning Volkswagen and mattress salesman. All the random things. Yeah. So United States Air Force non-commissioned officer. All the random things about me.
Okay. And then did you mention your other books as well?
Oh, yes, I have a book. My best-selling book for me is called Husband on Purpose. Came out about 11 years ago, almost now. 10,000 plus copies.
Okay, don't blaze past that. 10,000 plus copies. Okay.
Over, yeah. So, but yeah, it's one of those awkward things. It's like, um, it was the, I had books before that, and I had other books planned before that book. And then it felt like that was the book I was supposed to write back then. Um, and, uh, and I did. And then now I'm actually shifting into the gratitude space. So, that book still sells, but, I am not necessarily, I'm not serving that audience, how I feel like I should be at times. So, uh,
Okay.
but yeah, so
Okay.
yeah.
So I hear you say that it's not necessarily in the same space. However, it does still focus on the realm of being grateful
Yeah, so
and
actually,
being mindful.
so let me rephrase that, because yeah, I am serving that audience just in a different way. So it's all kind of in a very similar ecosystem. And this new book will be just another, the way I see things is just another doorway into the ecosystem. So I will still be helping husbands, helping men, helping leaders and stuff like that. Um, but just gratitude is a different doorway. And gratitude was a big part of Husband on Purpose. A part of what I did with that was, journaling, and the very first journal entry or journal section or whatever for Husband on Purpose was, I'm grateful for my wife because, and so that made a big difference for me, still makes a big difference for me. Um, so I don't know how deep we want to get into that, but yeah, so
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So the name of the book is called Smile When You Poop. Go ahead and get your giggles out.
Yes.
But also, what led you to write this book? And also, what were some of the blocks that you had in coming to this book being finished? And it's not finished because it's pre-order profits, so it's not done yet. But what led you up to this point?
Um, so January 6th, we'll never forget.
Not that January.
Not
I
just
mean, not that January. Oh,
January,
you mean that January.
yeah, no, January 6th, 2024. I have a screenshot. It was one of those like, I'm up, can't go to sleep. Uh, and I am journaling, and then I start typing in a Google Doc. I actually started compiling a bunch of different notes about, um, things that I've, learned and, about gratitude and stuff over the years, and my own gratitude journal entries, things that I shared about gratitude, et cetera, et cetera. And I, uh, already forgot your question, but I'm just going
This book come about, what led you to this book? Because you made the shift from, you have Beats for Jesus, it's one of your books, then you also are email copywriter and you do that in your entrepreneurial life. So what led you to, how did you get to Smile While You Poop? Like what inspired this book to come out?
All right. So that's it. Yeah. So January 6th, 2024, I started compiling all of my notes, all of my everything into a book about how to be grateful when life is hard. Now, I have been, like, if there are, for people that know me personally, they know that, there's a couple of themes in my life, gratitude being one of them. Where to find a good deal on food is another one. Where to get a free birthday meal or something like that is another one. And so I have been kind of immersed, I would say, in just the benefits and using gratitude and stuff like that for years. It really probably started on the sharing tip probably during the pandemic, and taking long gratitude walks, and, um, after having COVID and not being able to walk around the block without being winded. Um, Once I got my stamina back up, and just taking gratitude walks and like noticing the most random, ridiculous things to be grateful for, like literally like street signs, and thinking about how they, help us travel from place to place safely. Noticing how my legs were moving without pain, noticing how I could breathe without, you know, without like struggling.
About thinking about it and being grateful for
Yeah, and
what you have
so
every day.
I was just um, living in gratitude. That actually started what I call ridiculous gratitude. Just look, and this is stuff that's in the book, but just looking for um, noticing just the most random and small things that we had to be grateful, that I had to be grateful for. And again, like I said previously, way back, 10 plus years ago, gratitude helped shift things in my marriage as well. So that started pandemic, and then um, fast forward to 2024, I started to compile a bunch of stuff about gratitude into a book, How to Be Grateful When Life is Hard. Um, because life was already, quote unquote, hard before then, which I have learned that really just means uncomfortable.
Yeah.
What's hard is when things are uncomfortable. Um, and but what happened from really the end of 2023 to mid 2024 and even into 2025 is I got to actually live it. So January 6th, 2024, I actually literally I prayed and I said, God, I'm about to write this book, right? I said, I'm already grateful. I don't need my gratitude tested. I literally wrote that down in my journal. And then like 2 weeks later, at that time I was actually sick, probably had COVID, don't know. But a couple of weeks later, had a pain in my leg. A few days after that, went to the ER, turned out to be a blood clot. Um, and then um, my wife had to have emergency surgery. Um, and then let's see, and then our final grandmother passed away not too long after that in February.
And then kids got sick too. There was some
Oh yeah, yeah. No, the kids were sick. Yeah, no, there was so much stuff. Like even random things I forget about. Yo, we replaced 4 tires in the span of like faster than I had ever replaced that many. Like just random flat tires.
Mhm.
Um, all kind of small things like that. Um,
And then also your accident, was that
yeah,
around?
yeah. So that was afterwards. So grandma passed away. The day I was leaving for her funeral, I got let go from my job, one of my favorite jobs
I love
ever.
that.
Um, wasn't sure if I was going to be able to travel to the funeral because of the blood clots and can't fly, normally. And I had already missed my other two grandmothers' funerals for different reasons, in recent years. Yeah. So that happened. A couple months later, got T-boned in a car accident, total loss car accident. Um, we had recently lost our first two members of our church, and as assistant pastors, we were, I'd sit with people in the hospital, organize and deliver food for people, and all. So there was just a lot. This is all in the same season. So, anyways, there was a lot going on in the season. I said, God, I'm already grateful. I don't need my gratitude tested.
You said, watch this.
And
Thought you
so,
didn't, but here you go.
yeah, and so um, there was a lot going on in that season. Um, and it wasn't. And so before I had already had a bunch of gratitude practices I was already using that helped keep me grounded during this time. Uh, and then it actually wasn't until November 2024. Um, One of my kids has gastrointestinal issues. We had just done a scope. He does that a couple times a year, a procedure where they check his digestive system. Um, and 2 weeks after we did that, when we go there to do that, sometimes we see other kids that have um, worse issues, that have trouble using the bathroom on their own. And 2 weeks after we had just done the one for that year, um, I was dropping him off at school, and the car in front of me had a bumper sticker on it that said "honk if you have to poop." Now, I'm a millennial dad, and I was like, oh, I wanted to honk so bad, but and I was like, oh, I don't have to go right now. But after it drove away, I was like, wait a minute, no, 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 it said honk if you have to poop, and I was like, so I can honk because I'm fortunately I do have to poop. I just didn't have to poop at the moment. So anyway, I was like, oh, I just love the bumper sticker so much. And I wrote a poem and sent it to my Vegas family group chat. And the poem was called Smile When You Poop because I was just like, yo, I just was sitting in a hospital in a surgery center with kids who like literally going to the bathroom is a miracle,
Yeah, yeah.
is an event. And how often do we just overlook um, these small things? Again, I was already practicing ridiculous gratitude for years before this. Um, but that was just another form of ridiculous gratitude that, yo, every time I go to the bathroom, that is a blessing. Um, and so without assistance, without needing somebody to change a bedpan, without, somebody moving a tube or whatever. And so I wrote that poem, Smile When You Poop, sent it to the family group chat. One of my nephews said Shakespeare could never. My oldest kid responded pure genius. Um,
That's a
and
big deal when the teenagers.
yeah, the teenagers were like,
You
hey.
know, they don't lie, kids don't lie,
And
if they don't think it's cool.
and my wife said, that's my man, and I'm sticking beside him. So um, yeah, so it started as a poem. And then what eventually happened is I shifted the whole thing into, it has evolved into, I was thinking about making it a kid's book at that time. Um, but basically what I did was I took the former book I was writing that was about gratitude and all that stuff and turned it into Smile When You Poop, um, the book. So long-winded answer to
Yes, I forgot. He's a talker. He's a writer and a talker and so.
So anyway, so yeah.
But yes, no, okay, all right. So that is helpful. That gives context. And so with this, we had met before for the first part. This is a little bit different of a structure than I might do for a typical VIP day. Typically, we do it in a sprint of 4 to 6 hours to complete the process of understanding your motives for your book, what your goals are, who you want to serve, and then actually mapping out what are you selling, what's the timeline, what assets do you need, what kind of things like that, and then we execute it for our clients. And for this, have already done the first part of understanding our audience. He's a copywriter, so basically he understands how to use words to convey specific emotions or to sell things or to get signups for stuff. So he's got that as a benefit. And he's written books before. However, you've never done a pre-order, right? I don't think.
Not for real. I've sold, I released my books or I've let people buy before it's been out
Okay.
on Amazon. So
On
not
Amazon.
in your,
Okay.
not to your level,
Okay.
but yeah.
Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, that is something that I share in the book, and I brought a copy in case you didn't have your copy. I don't know if you brought yours with you.
I did not.
Okay, all right, there you go. So he did have some required reading before this, and so if you have your copy, go ahead and get it, and you can follow along with us. But one of the strategies that I teach is not using Amazon for your pre-orders because it cuts down on your profitability, meaning that they're taking a portion of it. Obviously, you still have to pay to print books even if you don't use that option. However, you don't have the ability to maximize your profit on the opposite end in terms of including things with your book, bundling, which is what we're going to talk about today. And then also it means that you are having to wait to get paid. And so if you don't know my story, I started out as an author in 2020 and actually referred to Conrad in the book because I needed help when I wasn't sure how to pay for my publishing. At the time I was and this will be a quick story, but I was a new mom, first time mom. I needed to release a guided journal because I was going through like, oh, hey, you have a child and now the world's falling apart because now we have the pandemic and now George Floyd's being murdered on TV and like just all these things that are happening. And not that those things are in the book, but all of that was happening on top of just normal bringing a child into the world. And so the guided journal that I created is for to get moms from week 1 to year 1 with their child and just reflect on the transition of being a mom. And so I knew that I couldn't pay for that with my own expenses. I couldn't pay for that book to be published out of my own expenses. And so I was like, I have to figure out how to do this. And so he directed me to the idea of pre-orders because it's a pretty common thing in the business space of pre-selling something before it's done. And when you think about like signups for masterminds or signups for group programs, sometimes those things are not fully fleshed out by the time it's being sold. But doing it with a book is typically shifted to let's put this on Amazon and let them handle the back end stuff so that you can just worry about the other stuff. But when you do that, you cut off different opportunities that you could do. And so today we're gonna map out his offer and also the timeline to get this done. And so you do already have a date you want to release on for World Gratitude Day, and that is, you said September 21st?
Yep, Monday, September 21st.
Okay. So, and you did mention a lab event, and we can talk about what makes sense for that as opposed to, should you keep it virtual, should you keep it live? I will use the smartboard, so I'll try to, oh no, not smartboard. Teacher me. I will use the dry erase board to map out some stuff. So I'll ask y'all if y'all can see that, or we'll just move you closer.
Yes,
Yeah, it is that far. So we'll move you closer for that. But when it comes to, and then you can have a seat if, well, you like to stand. Did you bring your computer too? Or no, it's okay. You're like you like to physically write, so that's fine. But I do want you to be taking some type of notes. So I do have sticky notes. So
Yeah, no,
because that's how you remember things.
Yep.
And then of course we'll have this recording, it's transcribed, and we'll use that. But from this, let's focus on what you're going to sell, because that's basically going to dictate your timeline of when things need to happen.
Mhm.
And what I find is that authors will ask me, well, how long should my pre-order last? Or how long should my book launch last? And that really depends on what it is that you're selling, how long it takes to create the thing you're selling, what is it that you are providing, what type of experience are you creating for your audience? And those are going to be the things. It's okay.
Sorry if this is loud.
Got a crisp
Really quick.
notepad. It's fine.
Boom, pre-order profits, let's go.
That's right, okay. So it depends on what you're selling and what is included, because then that dictates how long it's gonna take for you to make that stuff, how long it's gonna take for you to actually get those things done. So briefly, tell us about the things you were thinking about selling. And
So-
then we'll talk about pricing and what makes sense, what not to include, what to include, things like that.
Yeah, and you'll have to I did read chapter 7 and 14.
Okay.
That was my homework from last week.
Yeah.
And you'll have to jog my memory about some things, but
Yeah.
so the only thing that I have actually thought about so far is, let's just think about a couple. A workshop, some type of experience, basically just teaching either what's in the book or the whole gratitude kind of ecosystem, just
Okay.
a workshop. Thought about a couple of physical things. Well, a tracker that could be digital as well, but thought about a physical tracker, stickers, stinky notes. That was a suggestion of one of
Yes.
my friends, other mastermind member. And let me actually I do have notes in Google Docs. But
Okay. Yeah, and I was pulling that up too. Typically I would be typing this on my computer, but I'll use my phone since we are using that, but I might actually switch to that. So there tends to be a tendency, there's typically a tendency for authors to want to include, no problem, Megan, to want to include lots of different things. And so, yes, in chapter 7, I do talk about that. At the beginning, I talk about how Conrad helped me get into the business space with my Chef business, and really talking about an irresistible offer. And so when you are creating something, and I know you know, because this is your wheelhouse, but for people who are watching, when you're creating an irresistible offer, it's something where people are like, ooh, I need that. It includes things I didn't even think about, but that would be really helpful. And your main goal, like we mentioned earlier, is to get people to read, review, and recommend your book. And so,
yes.
you're fine. To get people to read, review, and recommend your book. And so in order to do that, you want to be mindful of the things you're including, because I'm gonna tilt this a little bit so you can be seen.
I don't have to be seen.
You do need to be seen. This is another thing that authors are like, I don't want to be seen. I just want to write the book and sell books, and I don't want people to see me. I just want them to magically sell and fly off the shelves. So we're gonna have to come out of that. But we are also going to talk about not using social media as heavily as a strategy, which I know a lot of authors are feeling like it's just such a heavy grind with that. But back to the irresistible offer. In chapter 7, and so follow along, students, if you have your book. Yes.
I've already read this.
I know. Okay, you sound just like the kids that I teach. You read okay, well, let's read it again. Okay, so um so I'm on the second paragraph on 115. If you have your copy too, you can follow along as well.
All right, come on, Pastor.
Okay, see, that's exactly. It's okay. So in chapter 4, I shared how book bundles can increase your pre-order profits, but just selling something extra with your book isn't enough. The key to profitable pre-orders is bundling your book as part of an irresistible offer. This is the difference between making a few $100s and thousands. And so I have had clients who just sell books and they make thousands of dollars as well. I have one who she actually just got a copy of my book. She's not even officially a client, and she sold $1,400 on her first day of pre-orders by following the strategies and following on social media and doing the work. So that is possible. However, if you are more so thinking of, okay, what can I add to my book and still not have to come out of pocket? What can I add to my book and not have to worry about thinking, okay, I got hundreds and thousands of pre-orders, which that's great too, but more so I've impacted people on a deeper level. They didn't just buy the book, they got an experience is really the goal that we're going for. And so then the item's value is way more than something someone would charge for them. So when you are including something, like you mentioned, you want to do an experience with it, you might charge 27, 37, whatever the amount is for the experience, but the takeaway that they have from it, the time that they spend with you, if it's an event or something like that, is beyond. And it's almost, what is the word I'm looking for? It's hard to assign a monetary.
Yeah, it's priceless.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it doesn't.
priceless. And that's funny because our mom said,
Because the goal, I'm sorry.
oh, no, go ahead. You said the goal.
Well, I was gonna say because the real result of really the book and the workshop, anything that is uh anything related to it is, being able to remain grounded and, not crash out and
Yes.
being able to still show up because the book is for like parents, leaders. It's for anybody really going through a hard time, but I kind of focus on people like me. People who need to show up and serve other people while things are chaotic. Um, and so there is no price on that really. It's just, yeah.
It's like invaluable. Like if you're able to show up in a regulated way, you're able to show up in a way that helps you to not compartmentalize, but basically to prioritize the many fires that are happening around you and still serve people while you're going through whatever you're going through. Then for the audience that you're trying to serve, you said, I'm sorry, say again, you said pastors,
Parents, leaders, so yeah, those are people I kind of call out: caregivers, pastors, parents, leaders.
Okay. Now, Conrad loves a good acronym and some alliteration
I
from
know.
copywriting side. So we're going to map that
I wish I could.
Caregivers. I mean, it's.
I thought I had one for poop a while back, but
okay.
but
something might come. The fresh anointing from the Lord might come before that. But even like reordering it in a way that just flows easier to say, like pastors, parents, leaders, caregivers. That helps too. So even if you don't have an acronym or you don't have like a fancy way to say it, just ordering it in a way that makes sense. Or parents, pastors, caregivers, parents, pastors, leaders, caregivers. So, and then you could do a summation of like, you're going to say it better because you're a copywriter, but like people in charge of other people, people who help people, people who support people to do whatever wording you might use. Okay, so let's flip over to 119, and I like to take clients through this process of looking through different options you can bundle. And I picked ones that are strategic that you could charge more than just whatever the face value of it is, and or that would elevate the experience for the person. And of course, this varies for your book. So I want you to take a minute to read through this and see if there was anything that you were like, okay, in addition to what you've said, because you mentioned some items, is there anything that you're like, actually, I think this might be cool to include, or I have questions about this and how this would work?
Yeah, I mean, potentially, I don't know. I don't necessarily want to do a bunch of physical stuff, but I think the stinky notes are a great idea only because I just like that. And because stinky notes are things that people could leave around, leaving bathrooms and public bathrooms and stuff.
Okay.
Um,
So talk to us about the sticky notes. Like, what would that look like visually?
the custom sticky notes,
Custom sticky notes.
potentially with,
Like a phrase or quote or something.
yeah, with
Okay.
literally might even be just with the title on it, smile when you
Okay.
poop. Maybe an emoji or whatever. I did design I use AI to design a billboard. Now, actually, my phrase I love now says, the billboard says, if you can, smile when you poop because you can. And
Okay.
so smile when you poop, of course, is big.
And then the other two are
But
okay.
yeah, so maybe that on the stinky note.
Okay.
And then uh I guess potentially conversation cards. I don't know that I want to do that right now, or like a version of conversation cards. Just to like actually last night, me and Jennifer, my wife, um,
Shout out to
I forced her last night to do 100 reasons right now. That's one of the gratitude practices. So 100 reasons right now is literally when you need to, uh-oh, let's see. Got a visitor. Yeah. 100 reasons right now is when you need to flood yourself with feelings of just the abundance of things that you have to be grateful for. I actually got that shout out to my buddy Adam Dukes. I think he said a coach years ago, he said a coach had him do it where you just write 100 things you're grateful for, no repeats, blah, blah, blah. And so I've been doing that for a few years. Periodically, I'll do it. But especially when I need to like flood myself with gratitude. And just, and so the whole thing is about expanding your awareness to the whole truth of living life. Like there are, things that suck and there are things that are great, simultaneously happening. And so it's not about toxic positivity, um, not about ignoring the things that are going wrong, but stabilizing ourselves in the truth of living life. And so, anyway, last night I had Jennifer we did 100 reasons right now. Actually, she did 76 or 74 in bed. We just kind of, and then I did the last however many that was.
How long does that take to do that? Like to come up with that?
So, I mean, so the goal is actually to do it as fast as possible.
Okay.
And so we did it in, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes last night. I've had times, I've actually recorded myself typing it out in Google Docs. So 11 minutes sometimes, Yeah. Now I've done it. I've done it a bunch of times now. And I mean like literally, I'm grateful for this table right here right now. Like, and the person who came in and installed this table for us to, oh, somebody else. The person who came in and installed this table for us to use and all these, there's a whole bunch of stuff just in this room. That is helpful. That's a whole nother thing in the book. Helper hunting, just noticing the things. Actually, I did that with my nephew. Just noticing the things around the room that your child, yep. Just noticing the things around the room that are helpful to you right now. Like, so again, tangent ADHD. How did we even get on this? I don't know. Oh, conversation cards. Sorry, conversation cards. So there are things that technically, yeah, we could do conversation cards around, but I don't probably won't do that right now. It just yeah, because September 21st is only today's July 15th, so there's only like 60 something days left. So
but why do you think you can't do conversation cards? Like
those are physical cards, right?
Yeah, they could be. They
Yeah.
could be digital ones.
So then I
they could be
gotta,
physical.
yeah, that's just another thing to design and create that stuff.
Okay, so I'm gonna hop in because this is a limiting belief.
Go ahead.
So this is, and I was trying to get a different camera angle for y'all, but I'll put that down. So this is a limiting belief that I find when you are doing your pre-order, when you're doing your launch, when just being an author in general, is feeling like you can't do something because the time constraint only factors in your time. When you have other people helping you, when you have people supporting you, when you hire help, whatever the case might be, you've maximized your time. So that could be designed, like I have a virtual assistant, that could be designed within a week and then sent to print with approvals and stuff. Like that's not so far off that has to be super far. If it's gonna be something that's like a Vistaprint type print, which is one of the vendors that I use. So just for example, she designed, I'll put this on here. There's some in here too.
Oh, yeah.
So these are some insert cards that go with my books, and they're printed on postcards. I know you love a good postcard. That's one of the many entrepreneurial endeavors that he's had in his past. And then like bookmarks. So it doesn't have to be where it takes forever and a day.
But you know what? So actually really quick, yeah, this is good because in my mind, conversation cards were a deck of cards.
And they could be a deck of cards. Now that will take a little longer. However, I do feel like there are vendors out there that can get that done somewhat quickly. It is a tight timeline.
But technically, is this considered a conversation card?
So the thing is, whatever you put on there is whatever it's gonna be. So like that is that's an accountability checklist for someone to use to read the book.
Okay.
And to get through the chapters and to complete the process.
Yeah.
So,
and I guess anything could be, I can call anything a conversation card. It's like, who's the conversation card police?
And you could put the conversations inside the book. There's plenty of books. I know this is more so predominantly with fiction books, but there's plenty of books that include like book club conversations.
Yep.
Inside the back of the book.
Yep, I did that.
Also saw something that was like, please, like it was from a reader, like please include questions for me to read and ask my group.
It's funny, I've done that with other people's books, and they've come back and told me like podcast hosts and group leaders appreciate the questions that we put at the end of the chapters and stuff like that. So yeah. I did not do that with this book, but no.
Okay. But is that something you want to include? And that's not necessarily like part of the offer, it's a part of the book. So you can table that and think about that if you want.
Yeah. So eventually the plan is, so there's some things that are after this launch, but the plan is to have a leader's guide for it, but that's more so kind of the bigger gratitude ecosystem than Smile When We Poop in and of itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Makes sense. All right, so continue going through the list. Anything else? You mentioned the stinky notes.
Yeah. Stinky notes,
Some type of event.
Yeah.
Workshop.
I'll have some type of one-on-one coaching. Eventually that will come from what people actually, what is found out as I engage with people around this.
Okay.
There was something about a group maybe on here. Private community access. And so that's one of the potential things I'm thinking about. I don't want to do it for the wrong reasons. And it's not a wrong reason. So I'm thinking about potentially school, because the platform school, because of the potential exposure. The hesitation is I'm not sure if I want to or will manage a group ongoing.
Okay.
But also school, so it gives the community obviously a way to communicate with people outside of email, which email is, my first and foremost, my first love in marketing. Exposure to other people on the platform, other groups, blah, blah, blah. Exposure through their ads. Now they're running ads for groups themselves. And then they also technically could host all the materials, whatever in there, like copies of the book, workshops, etc. And then they also do live. They have a video platform within the platform.
Yeah.
So that's why
and access levels, you mentioned that too. So different people have access to just these trainings or just this information.
Yeah. So you could put people in there for free that get, like in my case, they get chapter 1, because I'm giving away chapter 1 of the book for free. And then, like you said, then people can pay and they can get access to the workshop, or they can get access, you know, to whatever. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, all right. So you've gone through, you're good there?
Oh, yeah. That's fine for now. Again, 63 days or however.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so in summary, we have sticky notes, the workshop, and then some type of community level access. And then, of course, you're going to include,
Oh,
oh,
so
mhm.
include what?
No, go ahead.
The other thing, actually, I thought about acknowledgement in the book, um, for
Oh, okay.
pre-order people.
So yeah, I'm going to explain this strategy. So some people give kind of like how Kickstarter does pledges, and no shade to Kickstarter. And I'm gonna do a small side tangent. I was on Threads and I made a comment about how Kickstarter is not the most profitable platform for you to host your book on. And then the CEO of Kickstarter was in my comments and he was like, well, I hope you change your mind and try it one day. And so if you are not on Threads, I am a proponent of getting on Threads because just the connectivity with people is, the algorithm is algorithming the way it used to on other platforms. And so and he's a black male too. I think Everton is his name.
Really quick, son, did you see Brian Cohen he like maxed out his Kickstarter in like 30 minutes or something?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it just
Yeah,
recently.
so like if you are someone like that, I can see why you might use that as a platform. But essentially, we take the principles that work there, and you get an additional cut of the income. And so I'm not sure where I was going with this in terms. Oh, acknowledgement. So one of the things sometimes people do with pre-orders is say, if you pre-order the book before this date, I can add you to like the dedication or the acknowledgments within the book. And then that way they get like a special shout out because we know books are a legacy move. It's something that lasts beyond our lifetimes. And so some people really feel connected to the author by doing it that way. Okay, so you said acknowledgments within the
And I have actually reached out. I'm going to reach out to more companies. I've reached out to a few companies. There's this plumbing company. If anybody knows, there's a plumbing company around here that has trucks that says "Keep Smiling," and so they have vans and trucks wrapped, and they say "Keep Smiling." And so I've been reaching out to companies about potential
Okay.
sponsorships as well. And then any companies, actually, I need to reach out to, I don't know if it's Buffer or one of those social media scheduling platforms, and their values in their company is gratitude. Discount Tire in their values is gratitude. And so I'm reaching out to companies like that value gratitude, about potential sponsorships, and eventually we'll do corporate engagements and all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah. And so that's like, we had talked about this during our first session, and that's more the bigger goal of transferring this into some type of corporate training of like, okay, you're in this space, you're at your job, and maybe you have a set of not maybe disgruntled employees, maybe you have a set of people who just need to pick me up or just something different. The topic and the name of it is just so silly that even like as adults are going to laugh at it when they hear it the first time, and it kind of just instantly breaks the ice. And so those are smart connections and also unique connections, because I would think someone might not immediately think, what does tires have to do with pooping? Like, and that's not really the point of the book. It's more so the gratitude point of being thankful, being appreciative, and appreciating every day, like you have on your shirt. This is also a part of his future journey
Ecosystem.
So he's part of his ecosystem. Yes. So let me let Megan back in. Okay. All right. So to recap the items that you think you want to sell, you have your stinky notes, your workshop, your community access, your acknowledgments. And then, of course, we're going to include a copy of the book. Are you okay with doing autograph copies?
I'm okay with it.
Okay. That's a simple way to elevate the experience for people, because maybe you all don't know, he knows, but maybe you all don't know that if people order your book from Amazon, they don't have access to get an autograph copy from you unless they just see you in the streets or wherever, or they come to an event. And so I wrote automated, I meant to write autograph copy. Did you already have a price point you want to set for the book?
Just the book alone.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I usually will start things at uh just like $9.99,
Okay.
until I get a certain amount of reviews, and then go up from there.
Okay.
So print, and then and even 99 cents if I do Kindle. I don't know if are we boycotting Amazon still? I don't know. I don't know what's good.
So, okay, good
So-
question. This will make a good soundbite. Are we boycotting Amazon?
I don't know.
So
I know some people are,
people
definitely.
are. And the thing is, some people are, some people aren't. Some people say that they're never going to shop there again. Other people, it's the only way they can get stuff. Like I know in
That's true.
prisons and jails, sometimes Amazon's the only place that they can get.
Which actually,
Delivery.
husband on purpose has been, yeah. So anyway, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You said it.
Yeah, that has, husband on purpose was fortunate enough to reach, people in prison and stuff. And, I'm pretty sure it was Amazon that it had to go through
Yeah.
as well.
So I say that I'm not anti-Amazon. I've sold books on Amazon. I've done 5 figures on Amazon in book sales like over a year over time. I say don't leave opportunities where people can't reach you. So if it's an option, I say put it out there because you never know. And I mean, they access, I think, over 200 million people, and that could be a low number, but millions of people would have the opportunity to be able to get your book. It has to be over 200 million because there's more than 300 million in the US. So that number's wrong. I think, I don't remember the numbers.
Yeah, I just have it. Yeah, there's a lot of, yeah. And because I know that even all the people that I've reached in Japan and India and all Australia, all over the place or whatever, that they all came from Amazon, them discovering me on Amazon. So I'll have it on Amazon, but I'll also have it, of course, bookshop first, and then on my own site and all that stuff. But anyway, so pricing
Okay. Yeah.
will be starting at 99 cents and $9.99.
Okay, so I'm gonna put a pin in that about the pricing for the digital copy. Okay, so in terms of going back to Amazon, I typically recommend people don't make Amazon the priority, however, definitely have it in the mix. So during your pre-order period, you're not thinking about Amazon at all, except for actually the back end of the publishing process. So they've shifted it, I think, since the last time we published a book where you can order author copies before it's out. So that way, it's called scheduled release. So you don't have to worry about like having that big proof thing on the front. You can have them, and that way you can use that to help with distribution of your pre-order and the timeline that you put. Also, with that, we're not doing a pre-order in any sense on Amazon at all. So not even not even the ebook. None of that is happening. We're not doing that. You can, and then also in that we're not doing Kindle, and I'm saying we because I'm his sister and he's come to me and said, tell me what to do. So obviously if you were a different client, I would be like, this is why we're not doing it, but I'm just gonna say we're not doing it. Okay, so we're in the crunch time, so we're not doing that. And that's a shift for many authors. They assume that Amazon is the only method to have your book in a pre-order standpoint, and it's not. And when you do that, then you're not getting paid until 2 months after the book comes out. Whereas when you host your pre-orders on your site or another platform that you own, then you get to have them within a day or so, depending upon your payment processor. So when you mention the 99 cents for your digital copy, I'm going to push back against that because typically that comes from an Amazon mindset of I need to make it 99 cents so I can get people to leave these reviews, get them to read it and things like that. You are looking for people who are going to be your raving fans, who are going to be like super excited to experience this thing. You already have some novelty around the title of your book, and the route you're choosing for your marketing are going to be people who are already going to be singing your praises anyway. And so they're coming from a referral standpoint because previously we talked about part of his strategy is to reach out to people who he's in community with, or he's in is it called a mastermind? Or that he's in a mastermind with, and do some email list sharing for people who would be more aligned. And so I would say that I don't typically recommend doing your ebook for 99 cents because the strategy that's usually used for that for Amazon means that a bunch of people, even making it free, like people will do the free weekend. I have very strong opinions about that because what I've found is that tons of people download it, but they don't actually read it. They download it because it's free, they don't value it, or you're not getting the page reads so you're not getting money from the page reads because nobody read the book because it was free. And then you're not getting the reviews because really your goal is to get the reviews. And so I know right now, one of the things he that Conrad's done proactively is to create a lead magnet, so to create something to get people onto his email list for this book. He already had an existing email list. However, I do recommend making a list segment for each book that you released, not a whole nother list, but asking your existing audience or building an audience towards focusing on just his book. And so he does have that going, and he's giving the first chapter of the book, correct? That's still, okay. So I have also seen people do where they might give an unfinished portion of the book. So maybe like the first 5 chapters of the book and still use that for reviews, or even getting reviews from beta readers because they, even though they haven't read the book in its entirety, for the finished version, they've gotten a pretty good idea of what the book will be, and then circling back and giving them the finished copy of the book. Is that something you're open to doing, or do you feel like you might be kind of pressed to have people within this timeline?
Am I open to allowing beta readers to leave reviews or what?
Yeah, or even like the process of securing beta readers and
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, really anybody, so I think anybody that pre-orders will get like a access to that early draft as well.
Yes.
And then yeah, so let me ask you this. Are you saying not no to 99 cents on the digital copy just from the Amazon standpoint, or
Yes, that's one
okay.
yes. And
Now, so because are you saying to sell a digital copy by itself for a certain price period? Okay.
Yep.
And so because I'm not really so I'm in my mind is pushing back against that only because it's not really in my mind, it's not necessarily about the book sales and making money from the book sales. Is more about the reach
That is true for you.
In the book, or the book reaching as many people. So it's like the digital copy. Honestly, I could give the digital copy away for free in my mind. So anyways, so just expressing like what's rattling around in my mind.
So the pushback I have against that is even if you sold digital copy for $5, that could cover your ad spend to extend your reach, because you mentioned wanting to run ads.
Yeah, and so I'm running ads around I guess I could do a $5 offer.
Because that's still like in someone's mind, 99 cents, $5, it's still like in the realm of this is still super cheap.
Yeah. So I'm running ads around like the workshop and stuff, which would include a copy of the book and all that. So
okay, the workshop is the same workshop you're trying to bundle, or a different workshop?
Okay. Yeah. So actually, so this again, this is before we're doing this, so it might be the bundle now instead of just
Okay, is the workshop paid or free now?
No, paid. Yeah.
Okay.
All that'll be paid.
Okay, so then that's different. So it's like you're paying for the workshop and giving you the book for free versus like you're getting a free workshop and a free book is what. So
yeah, and technically, I'm trying to think because I just saw Derek Johansson running ads to a book. Obviously, I've seen people run ads to books,
right.
but I just sorry, it was just fresh on my mind. So maybe I could do a book version, but a lot of those are like business books. So like take Mike Shreve, right?
Okay.
He's running ads to his book, but it's obviously based. It is. I could do that. I could do book ad.
So you necessarily saying you have to, but I just heard you say you wanted more reach, and with reach, if you're not doing organic reach, then like I know you're running ads, so I just was thinking like, why not make this self-fulfilling so that it's paying for itself?
Yeah, definitely. That's the goal. So only ads. I'm not running ads to the free opt-in page, at least not yet. I might eventually do that as well. The ads will just be to a paid product.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how much is the workshop right now?
Whatever I make it. It's not, yeah.
What,
I'm sorry. I
I
said running ads. I'm not running them yet.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
You just had plan, got it. Okay,
Yeah.
you had plans to run it. All right.
Yeah.
So what is happening at the workshop?
It'll be, so it's undecided. It's not in concrete yet, but it'll be basically a workshop version of the book plus running through gratitude exercises. Of course, I need to have a more clear, concise result stated, but the end result is to help them
implement what's in the book.
help them leave equipped to be able to, stay grounded, grateful, grounded, and
Grateful, grounded. Okay.
I don't
Grateful
know.
and grounded. That's
I
enough.
don't know if I'm ready for growth or blah, whatever. So anyway, but yeah.
That grateful, grounded, and ready for growth. Because that doesn't mean you already grew in this workshop. It just means you're poised for growth.
Yeah.
And you have the tools you need to grow.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. Write that down. Write that down.
Yeah. So, because in the book I call it, I think I say basically grateful, grounded, and the pieces in that last part. Basically, like at peace amidst chaos, like be like.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, but
okay. Tiffany in the comments said
Oh.
grateful, grounded, growing. Okay, grateful, grounded, and growing. I like that. Okay. All right. So do you have a price point you think you might want that workshop to be at? And this is just like
Yeah,
spitballing. It doesn't
so
have to be
right now I have it
$100.
penciled in at $29. Um,
Okay.
and I had the whole yeah, so anyway, yeah. So I had the workshop penciled in at $29. And then I was like, and if I do a bundle, I was like one of my bundles might be $29 is
Okay.
what I had penciled in. So
Okay. So for simplicity's sake, I'm probably just gonna stay over here instead of taking it to the whiteboard so we don't have to move things. But okay, so basically when you are mapping out your offers, you typically want to use 3 tiers. I know you know the psychology, but typically you want to use 3 tiers because people are typically gonna buy this middle one. So they don't want to seem, I mean, some people buy the low one, but most people are not wanting to get the cheapest one. Most people are not going to get the top one, depending on your audience. Because some people's audiences, they're only going to get the top one. They're not even going to look at these 2 lower ones. But in the bell curve of things, most people are going to buy the mid tier. So make the mid tier include the things you actually want to sell and include the things that you feel like would be the most helpful to get people to read, review, and recommend your book. And then you mentioned the $29 price point. In general, this one is like, okay, this is like dirt cheap, very affordable. This one is a little bit more, but still pretty affordable. This one, I like to do something that's just like bananas, like out of this world, top tier VIP level experience. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's super expensive for you to orchestrate. It just means that it is something where, I'm sorry, I'm talking to them. I need to talk to you. I'm used to.
no, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something that it's like, okay, wow, like I want to get that because that sounds like really cool. So this could be where they meet up with you or have like a one-on-one with you to like map out their lives or something like that. And so from the things you mentioned, the stinky, and then also, of course, whatever, not of course, but what I like to do is whatever is in the previous tier is included in the higher tier. So that way it's like, oh, and you get this, and this, like you're getting everything here plus everything that's here. So in the lowest tier, I do typically recommend doing of course, autographed copy of the book and then a digital copy. And when you do the value, you're not valuing it at 99 cents, of course, because if someone were to read the digital copy of the book and they still got a transformation, it's still reaching that invaluable mark. So let's see. Okay, so we have the book, ebook. Actually, I want to use the board. Can y'all bear with me for a moment? I'm down to the.
You gonna take the computer?
Yes, I'm still taking it here. Let's go on over there. This is all a big experiment doing it this way.
Just a heads up. I don't know if
yes,
the time.
The timing, yes. Yeah. So we're at least gonna map out your offer. We may have to pause on the timeline, but you can bring your chair closer or sit wherever you want. Okay. Okay, that's right. So it's like what's way. So okay. Can you give me a thumbs up if y'all can still see? Maybe I'll put you over here. A little closer. All right. Okay, thank you, Megan. All right.
Tell Nathan Barry to watch out. Ashley got the whiteboard out.
All right. So, okay, so you have your tier 1, your tier 2, your tier 3. When you are, can you get my phone and take some video? Sorry.
Video.
Yeah, and photos is fine. All right, so when you're doing your tiers, you of course want somebody to be able to So easily tell what's in it, and then also to, sorry, let me move these down. You want them to see what's in it, and you don't want it to be confusing. So you don't want it to be like, what is the difference between these? Because then they're not gonna buy. And I know these are crooked, and that's gonna bother me, but it's fine. Okay, you got your tears. You have. I'm like, hi babe, I'm really sorry. So you have your 3 tiers, and you of course are gonna include the book in each of them, autographed copy of the book. That's gonna go all the way through. Typically, I like to include the ebook just because it's an easy way to add value and a no-brainer. If you had more time, I would suggest doing the audio version of it because that's just more accessible. Audio is one of the fastest growing format of books right now. And so if you have that, excellent. If not, no big deal. You can always add that on later. The book you said.
What do you feel about an audio summary?
I mean, I think that could be beneficial too because people are busy and they also.
Beneficial. So one of our books, we did an audio, a book I wrote with somebody else. We did an audio recording on, this was back in the day, so I don't remember, the platform probably doesn't even exist anymore. It was like one of those free conference call kind of things. And we actually included that we included that for free.
Okay.
I think we got that idea from Chandler Bolt back in the day.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so what about, and actually I think that did help. I know that helped as well. But today, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, once again, going back to the read, review, recommend. So if somebody, even if they don't actually read it, but they're able to get that tangible thing of like, I listened to at least the first half of the book and I understand the concept. This has already helped me. I've tried some of the practices. Basically, I think reading as like getting it into your brain. I know online there's like a thing of audiobooks are not reading. As somebody with a literacy background who's been teaching kids to read for over a decade and adults and working with them, it's fine. Like your brain understands it. And it actually helps you understand it better if you have the audio and the written part.
Yeah, because I read like that.
Yeah, it taps into more parts of your brain. So it's better for processing.
Yeah.
So the prices that are, so do you want to do that or not necessarily?
Yeah, actually that might be, I'm open to that.
Okay.
Because I did, think about, shout out to Joseph Wynn and everybody else that's doing it now. Actually, Mike McAllis did his live on YouTube recently.
Yes.
And so I thought about something like that as well. So yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna put audio component.
Yep.
And I know you also mentioned doing a series of like a video series of being grateful that could be turned into audio.
Yeah, that's.
So we'll do audio stuff, audio series, something of that sort.
Yeah, I may just do live reading. I don't know.
I mean, yes, you could literally just sit and read your book live and people will come watch and or listen and they'll still buy the book. So many people think that if you give the book away for free, that people won't buy it, but that's actually a good marketing strategy as long as you have a reason behind it and help people. As long as you have a reason behind giving away the book for free, people will buy it and they also will feel more connected because they got like a sample. If you think about like at the mall, I mean, I don't know how many people go to the mall, but back in the day when people went to the mall, they would give out the samples from like the Asian food restaurants. And it's the same General Tso's teriyaki chicken that you've had before, but trying it increases the chance that you'll buy it. And so lean into that with your book, give people samples, give them a taste. All right, so you said the community access as well. Actually, sorry, I did this one. Let me take this back. So basically, this audio might not be included with everything. It might just be.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Yeah, that makes sense.
Let me do it that way. Then the community probably is going to be a tier 2 and up. Or you could do like limited access, like 30-day access.
Yeah, or depending on the platform.
Or lower tier.
Yeah, lower tier access.
Yeah, you could do a lower tier. School does offer that. And then the other things you mentioned were the stinky notes. Stinky notes. I think those are funny and cute. If you
shout out Jackie Bledsoe, that was his idea.
Yes. That one definitely for these two. Also, that's just kind of fun. So, I mean, you could include that. It depends on the price point of this because custom sticky notes can be expensive. And so this is where having the right pricing for something like this that's not costing you money, but that you can charge for is good because this can cover the cost of like nice or like little cutesy things like this. Or not cutesy or whatever you whatever you can say. So you could include it here if you're gonna charge appropriately here, otherwise it's gonna eat into your cost. So something to be mindful of. What are you thinking about? How are you feeling about including that in the lower tier?
I guess I would need to look at prices first.
Okay.
In the lower tier, I would think the tracker,
Yes.
yeah, the gratitude tracker.
Yes, okay.
Postcard,
Yeah, so that I would say yes, everybody should get that tracker.
yeah.
And normally I would have done this like as a chart, like check, 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 check. But, I create this digitally for clients as well, so he'll get a digital copy of this. All right, then you said acknowledgements. I'll try to acknowledge for short, and then the workshop.
Yeah.
And then, the life planning thing, did you have a name for what that was gonna be for the higher tier?
Life planning thing?
I mean, not life planning, but like where you would work with them on a more like one-on-one basis of, did you have a name for what you want that to be?
No, in that, I don't know
I didn't mean to say life planning, but.
yeah. No, like the coaching kind of thing.
Mhm.
I don't know about in the pre-order because that, I feel like I wanna
Qualified.
understand what people actually need and want before I
Mhm.
just offer a generic, like,
Okay,
coaching session or whatever.
okay.
Yeah.
So could it be the like, do you feel like is that from a qualifying standpoint? Because you don't want to get somebody in there that isn't a good fit for what you do, because that could be solved by like an application, and then if it doesn't work, then you don't accept them, like they don't have to pay. Like they could apply, you check it out, then they pay. It doesn't have to be, like this could be application only. Like if you think you need this.
More
Fill
so
this out.
more so on me understanding how I can actually help. So it's not necessarily
not
about
necessarily
their
them, okay.
qualification, it's just, okay, what would actually be helpful? I don't just sell people something that's.
Right, that's not helpful you.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Okay, so then in that case, you could do a different type of, like, you could do like a different type of experience that's a little bit more. You could do a different type of experience that's a little bit more, not generic,
Yeah.
but more of like a
Yeah.
90-day, like inside the community.
Yeah, so that is an option, accountability. Uh, so then it goes into, in my mind, I'm going to, that is under appreciate every day, the ecosystem. And so then am I introducing something that's, it is connected in my mind.
Mhm.
I just have to think around making
What
sure
makes
it's
sense here.
connected here. The other kind of, the other kind of high ticket thing would be, honestly, I think for this would be, to keep it simple, would be like the bulk orders.
Yes, we did talk about that. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
and I could do a talk, like I could present on it. So,
Mhm.
I forgot what you just said back there a little while ago, but.
But for corporate
At
orders,
the-
like disgruntled employees, getting them to be
No,
more.
you said something about this tier 3 and the price, like a wild price or whatever. And so I could do, literally, I could do like a group workshop or
Right.
yeah. So that I could
Corporate
do.
training
Yep.
workshop,
Mhm.
okay. Because those packages will look different from these other ones.
So that's that, but then also the bulk book orders, or like, buy, whatever, the bulk book orders.
Okay, and so by book orders, he means buying books in bulk. So like think Costco style, where you are purchasing a large quantity of books, and you can decide those tiers for what makes sense. And give a discount, or you don't have to give a discount. It really just depends on your preference. Okay, so this one, I would say, so corporate would be here, and then bulk would be here. So, and then workshop, I would think would be second, third tier. And I should have done a box for the chats, but
Snap a picture of this.
Okay,
because
yeah.
You might get put out of this rented room. All right.
I can see if we can renew it.
So
So,
check.
yeah, that's fine. You can check. All right. So I'll address comments and questions while you're doing that. And actually, I'm gonna redo this chart. Or is this easy for you to understand? Let me see. Okay. Do you ever recommend more than 3 tiers? Good question. Let me scroll up a little bit and make sure that I didn't miss any other questions. Fix my shirt. Okay. Let's see. Okay, do I ever recommend more than 3 tiers? So in this case, he's actually going to end up having more than 3 tiers, but it's not more than 3 tiers of the same audience. So, and he's a more advanced client because he's been in business and also he does marketing and copywriting and things of that sort. But in this case, his tiers are like for the average, not average person like your basic, but basically like for someone who is an individual, this for the first and second tier. But then when you get into the third tier, he's going to aim to work with corporations to do trainings and workshops. And so that way that might look like one-to-many. So maybe a company's paying for him to come in and do a training that focuses on one chapter of his book or whatever the structure is. And of course, that would involve like having conversations back and forth of, okay, what is needed, what actually makes sense, and then adjusting what is already in place to fit that audience. So it is going to be an adjustment period that's a little longer of a process to do corporate contracts. But corporate could also look like speaking at churches. He mentioned that his audience is pastors, leaders, caregivers. I've had things where people have asked me to speak, and then it was virtual. We did training about how to fast. They said fine. Okay.
No, something.
Okay. You nodded like yes. And so that's an option too. But good question. Okay, so I was just answering questions while you were gone. Okay,
Cool.
all right. Is the other person, or do we need to?
They're not here yet, but they could.
Okay, that's fine. All right. So, how do you feel about these tiers, these options? We haven't gotten into pricing, but how do you feel just at a glance of what's here?
Yeah, looks good.
Okay. Is there a certain, like you feel comfortable at selling at these different levels with these different audiences? Because I was talking to Tiffany on the live about how like this is going to be a different audience than like these 2 tiers. So the corporate people are going to be different.
Yeah, no, I feel fine, because it would be, yeah, I feel fine about it because I know other people that have gotten corporate gigs from their book, and it's just I'm available for training and speaking, page in their book, so, yeah, so it wouldn't, in my mind, at least right now, it would just be an offer that's made, and, it's the same sales page, same, website, but just different,
Copy.
yeah.
And
And but
packaging.
now also the bulk book, I might do a separate link for the corporate training and bulk book, but I was thinking that it would be after they actually bought one of the other tiers or whatever. Originally, that's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did talk about that as a lead-in. That's something I saw with Stu McLaren. He's a membership. He's like one of the gurus of memberships. And for his last book, he had the general sales page for the book, pre-order the book, get all your perks and stuff. And then the follow-up page was, hey, do you know anybody who could use a bulk copy of these books? Like you could buy 30 copies of the book, you could buy 50 copies of the book. And there were some additional perks that were included. There was no discount, but they included the additional perks to kind of justify the cost, quote unquote. So that's definitely an option. All right. So then from a pricing standpoint, I would suggest, so you said $9.99. These are value prices, not necessarily actual prices, if that makes sense. Like if you're gonna sell the book for $9.99, but technically that's a sale. That's not
Yeah, no.
the actual price of
Yeah,
what you might.
because eventually it'll probably go to somewhere between $16.99 and $19.99.
Okay, so we'll do on the high end, because at some point you're gonna get
Yeah.
there. And then the ebook, then I would say make that $9.99, because that gives you a little bit of space. And then the audio series, it's not quite fleshed out just yet, so it's kind of like a little up in the air as far as what that looks like. But is there a price point you were thinking that you felt comfortable?
They're here.
No, they're
To keep it simple, I would just say audio book, what, $14.99, $12.99, something.
Okay.
But I'd look and see.
Okay. All right, so $14.99. And then the community access, I know there's gonna be tiers. So do you think you'll do a free tier or everything's gonna be paid?
Free tier.
Okay. Free. And then what would the paid tiers be?
And actually, I wonder, I guess maybe that would be,
You could make it free for a short period of time. That's more tech.
yeah, no, I'm not doing all that. And like kicking people out and all
Okay.
that stuff. That's,
You could put it on YouTube and say first 5 days free if you want to get the
oh, no,
rest.
no, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm not talking about this.
Oh.
I'm talking about the community, because then it's like, is that $9.99 access, give them access to the community to have the book and all that stuff.
Well, they're actually paying these prices. This is just how much you would say the value of these prices
Yeah.
are. So this isn't the charge that you're gonna pay. These people are
Sorry.
likely only paying like
No.
probably $20.
Community, you're at price per community.
Mhm.
Let's just stick with $9 a month for now.
Okay. And then are these people getting premium access in that same community, or do you want to house that someplace else? Is this a one-time thing because it's corporate people and they don't really need this community? Or would
No,
you?
that is separate. Yeah,
Yeah,
corporate
so-
will be separate.
Okay. Sticky notes, from what I've seen, it's about, I like to pay for the sticky notes, like $2.50 to $3 per pack.
Oh,
So the value of that, I would say maybe like $4 or $5. Cause they're custom. The tracker, and this is where you kind of get into the invaluable thing of like, if this thing helped change my life, like if I bought a journal and it helped fix my life, Ayana fixed my life, then is it like the value of it is. So this, I think you get to a part of where it's just like, these numbers in some essence are somewhat not made up, but they basically are theoretical.
I think everything's
but-
made up. So.
Okay. Like in the online marketing space, like you came to this value based upon something that you agreed upon, but it's not necessarily something that everybody agrees upon. So, I mean, I would say you could do $9.99, $20. Like, this is kind of, there's flexibility.
Yeah, no,
with
tracker, yeah, I mean, $5, like,
Okay, we're $10.
I mean.
Okay, or for consistency, the $9.99. Or do you? I mean, are you somebody who likes the angel numbers, or you prefer to just do
I don't even know what angel, what are
like repeating?
888?
Yeah, like the numbers repeat. Or do you care about that?
No, I don't care.
Okay. I should have known. I already knew the answer to that question. So, and then acknowledgements. This one to me is like a priceless thing. Like,
Yeah.
kind of hard to put a price on this. The workshop, you said 29.
Yeah.
I think. Okay. All right. And actually, these people are getting this. Stinky notes, yes, for these people. Or we want to. We can check the profit margin on that. Workshops 29. Bulk book orders. This is gonna have to depend on your shipper, your printer, and all that jazz. Like whether or not you're printing through Amazon or if you use a printer, a bulk printer. This can be something that pays for itself. Get the deposit, pay the deposit to pay the thing, and then do the balance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I would sell them before
Right, you're pre-sell. Yeah, you're gonna pre-sell. Like that's gonna cover the cost.
Yeah, that'll
regardless.
always be covered.
And then corporate, same thing. Like you're gonna
Yeah.
handle that. So that won't be a problem. All right, so if we add these things up. Yes, take a picture if needed. I like to be between 50 to 60% profitable. That's just like, it makes me feel excited about doing stuff. And so for your, and we are over time, so if you have to hop off, that's fine. For these plus stinky notes, we're gonna wait. The tracker for you to print is probably gonna be less than $2 to print. I'm doing like, I'm sorry, I didn't transition that properly. We're gonna do the cost to the customer versus the cost to you.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's do the cost, the value that they're getting. So if I add these two, I'm gonna do the tracker. I'm gonna leave the stinky notes off for now.
This,
So it's 30.
it's like $45.
It's not. I love this. Well, did you add this?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I added.
I took it off in case you can't cover it
Okay.
for your expenses. But yes, it is about 45. So, and I'll put the number. If we add it on. Then the cost to you, the book is how many pages? About.
Less than 120, between 100 and 120.
Okay, so about $2 to print,
Mhm.
and then ebook you already have digital software you're using anyway to store it and all of that jazz. So, let me do this a different color. Okay. So this is your cost, basically $0, but we know obviously you're paying some type of digital thing for it. And then, hold on, let me
I'm like,
remove
this
this part.
is $99 a month.
What you mean?
No, yeah.
Okay, I mean, it could be like if you get some people on.
No, my
some-
costs. No, my
Okay,
cost.
okay, yeah, I mean, you are paying for it, and if you wanna roll that into it, you can, cause you could pay for like a year, like if you want your pre-orders to pay for a year of your software. Then that's how many books you need to sell, or how many pre-order bundles you need to sell. All right, so we have $2 print cost, about, it'll be a little over. $0 for that. They're not getting this. This, the tracker, between probably like $2 approximately. So right now, this is just $4. So your costs monetarily
Mhm.
are $4 to $9 if you include that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so then if we were to divide that, so like if you divide 4 into that, that's about 10% costs.
Mhm.
So that means you're making 90% profit, which is bananas and amazing. Which is wonderful. Now, of course, as you go over, it's gonna decrease because you're having to spend more to cover costs of stuff.
Yeah.
So you have your 40, we've now added, we're adding another 9. Let me see your phone, or you do.
Oh, wait, is this, I forgot, so is this supposed to be my cost? No.
No, that's their,
Okay.
that's their cost.
Yeah.
So their costs are purple,
Yeah.
your costs are
Wait a minute.
you. All right, can you be our calculator since I'm recording on my?
Yeah, I got
Okay, so,
15 and 10 is 25.
okay, and then,
30 is 55. So,
and then add it onto that, or,
55 plus 45, is that 90? Or 95?
I don't know, this is your, that's why I don't like to just,
I use round numbers. 55
Okay.
plus 40 is 95, plus 45 is 100 actually.
okay. All right, so I like to be precise with numbers,
I like to overestimate.
which is good, because also we didn't account for shipping, and so that's good. Shipping's gonna be about $4 to $5 a book. So let's actually update this. This would be, so like 8 to
15.
15, and then that brings you down to like 80-ish, right? Yeah, about between 80 and 90. We'll say on the low end. All right, then this one, I'm sorry, you said out of 100, okay. So your cost is still the 15, because now we've added shipping. And then your audio, do you already have platform for that? Or would you put on YouTube? How would you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be in the same platform as the community. I was probably, yeah.
And then how much is school for the plan you have? Or the plan you would need?
I think I probably need the $99 plan.
A month or a year?
No, yeah, a month.
Okay.
Now I already, yeah, so anyway, yeah, $99, you'll stick with that because I already have, yeah.
Okay, so that's free.
Yeah, so all that is included in that.
All right, so you said this is how much now, instead of your cost being $15, now it's gonna be like 115, about 114.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's not per person, because you're not paying $99
Right.
per person.
No.
So
So I don't know.
this
if
is
we-
like total, but really, let's
Yeah.
say if we were to split this, like if you get 10 people,
Right.
then it's like, okay, now this is $11 per person. So then that brings us to 26 per person-ish.
Mhm.
Obviously, of course, audience size matters, percentages matter, things like that. Then this part is for corporate. This can vary widely. We can at least do the
Right.
book order one. Because if you know your print costs, let's say you're doing a bundle of 100 books. Are you?
And my bulk book literally might be, 10 books if somebody wants to buy 10.
And that's fine, yeah. Because that's the thing, if somebody wants to buy 10 books, you can sell them to them. You don't have to give them a discount. You can give them a discount, but you gotta make sure your margins make sense. So that would be $200. And then let's say you said 10 books, so on the low end. Then, okay, wait, I did them wrong. No, I didn't.
I think that's right.
Okay, I did that right. Sorry, I'm like, this is too cheap. Okay, this is basically your cost plus shipping. Now, that is a different consideration for bulk book shipping. Some people do it different ways. Some people say this is the cost of the books and shipping and taxes, because if they're in a place you need to charge taxes, of course you need to. Or other people say, I'm gonna just increase the cost of the book to account for taxes. So instead of it being $19.99 a book, it might be $25 a book. And then you can still give them a discount. Typically people like to do, typically 40% is like a nice, and I wouldn't do that for a $10 book order. I would just charge them at cost. If it's like upwards of this, even like 50, I've also given like a 20-30% discount. That's kind of like is this a nonprofit? Is this like a church? But don't feel like you have to undercut, because nonprofits and churches also have money. So, but yeah, so typically like a 20-30% discount. And some people do a rolling discount. It really just depends on if you're like, do I want to manage and figure out how much this actually is, or I want to just be like, it's $15 a book, shipping is included, XYZ. What are your thoughts on any of that?
Potentially maybe do some bulk discounting right now. So, but for this right now, what I would do is just do a couple of packages. Now 40%, that's a pretty big.
It is. I don't do this anymore. I did that when I first started.
Yeah, so I mean, it might be 20%, or it might be if you buy this, more so what I probably lean more towards, if you buy, as an example, the 100 book package, then I'll come speak.
Right, and I was gonna ask you about that, how you felt
So
about doing that.
Yeah, that's more so what I would lean towards.
Okay.
I forgot the people, oh.
I was just filming some content too. Okay, so what price or what number of books do you feel like is enough for that? Because what would you say you're speaking?
I'd have to actually run the actual numbers and what I'm gonna actually sell them for, but if it's,
Well, so let me take a step back. What's your speaking fee? And then you can use that. And I know you're like,
yeah, no, I don't know. Corporate, I mean, you probably looking going to a 5,000.
Okay, I was gonna say, it needs at least be a 4-figure for doing
Yeah,
corporate.
no,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it's a $5,000 price point.
All right, so if it's 5,000 and the books are gonna be the $20 mark, then you divide that by 20.
That's like 100 or let me see. Let me pull up a calculator for this. 500 divided by 20, 250.
Okay, so 250 books. So if you guys buy 250 books, I will come speak for free. For you, that means 250 books. Hold on. But that's also, you gotta deduct your costs, because the books are gonna cost you $2. But at this point, you could also do a printer. As opposed to printing from Amazon, and it might be like $1.
Yeah. Well, so at most is like $3 a book, right?
Yeah.
From my experience, right?
Yeah. So 250 times 3.
So 750.
750 out of pocket, but then you also got to think about travel.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly.
Gas, if it's not local. You can also, of course, limit it to wherever. And these can be virtual. These can be in person.
Yeah.
And then shipping, if you are not gonna be taking them, but they still have to get shipped to you.
Right.
So you have to think about, are you signing these too? Because that's another thing. Like, you don't have to sign them. If it's virtual, you don't have to sign them. You can just ship them directly to them. However, it's like a nice personal touch, but that means if you are gonna sign them, you have to get them shipped to you and then get them shipped to them.
Right.
And that's extra shipping. So there would be shipping times too. So it can be a case by case of like, is this local? Is this a number I want to get out of bed for?
Right.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that makes sense and it works. I think it's reasonable. Okay, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, sounds good.
Okay. All right.
Numbers are always subject to change.
Exactly. Yes, this can change. So, okay, talk to me about hold on, let me rephrase that. Okay, talk to me about how mapping out this experience was for you of deciding what to sell and price points.
Yeah, good. Some clarity, definitely. Just to see it, yeah, to see it mapped out and instead of jumbled in my brain, uh, is a great, great thing, great experience. And so now it is clarifying exactly, cost and all that stuff and seeing what will definitely specifically be offered.
Mhm.
Yeah, so great, yeah, great experience, and allows me to now move forward, so.
Okay, and take the next steps. So this will also help you to decide how or what needs to happen next and how long it might take. And actually, we need to go back and look at the percentages for these. Do that. So if it's 26 per person,
Yeah, and that's kind of, yeah, that's kind of,
I mean,
it's hard to
with
really,
some-
yeah.
like, but
It's like, yeah,
but it also gives you a break even point of like, okay, if I'm under this
How
amount,
long
I don't
is
need
this?
to be doing this anymore because it's not making sense and it's costing me money instead of making me money. So it's still good to do it because you at least have a picture of, I need this many people in the community to cover the costs.
yeah. Well, and to be honest, so, because I have a software that does community right now that I'm using for other stuff anyway, so technically it's included in that. More so thinking about switching to school because of the ecosystem of school,
Yeah,
so,
okay.
yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's a good platform and something that can really help people to understand things, like from a curriculum design based standpoint. Because I have my background in
Uh-oh,
curriculum and instructions.
you're endorsing school for the.
I didn't say that. It's
I mean, for the experience.
from an experience standpoint, there are benefits that school provides. But there are certain drawbacks. So in terms of like the notification settings, like for me, I know I personally stopped engaging in school because I didn't like that you couldn't like mark notifications as unread again. And then also it's just very text heavy. You can add videos in there, but it's like, unless you are, like you can add videos in there. I do like the classroom aspect of it. That is helpful. But I think that for me, because I couldn't go back and mark stuff as unread, and then also, to me, it was just a lot of notifications, and that could just be the community's friend. And I don't like some of the defaults. So I don't like that it defaults you to daily notification or hourly notifications for communities, and you have to go in and change it as opposed to like, let's make the daily default. But there are a ton of good options within the platform in terms of integration with YouTube and being able to also email people from your group. I did think it's kind of creepy that you can like see conversations of people in your group. Like you can see people's conversations. Yeah, the admin. I'm like, that's because I feel like it's trying to be like social. I feel like it's trying to be like Facebook groups. To me, that seems kind of invasive. However, obviously, if it was on a different platform, you could probably see conversations in those platforms that are just set out to be like membership communities. So I think it's good for what it does. I think the tiered option is great, and offering the lower option that they have now, where it's more affordable, that's good too for people who are kind of in the startup phase or trying to decide if they want to use it. I know I have just been hesitant to move my audience off of a platform where they're already going, not audience, community, off of a platform they already go to every day. But for something like this, I think it also makes sense because you can have the tiers, you can integrate the video, you can have the classroom setting so everything is in one spot, so it's easy to find things. And you don't have to just use that classroom setting just for courses. You can use it for like pretty much whatever you want. You can add your lead magnet in there. You can put your free chapter. Like that is definitely beneficial. So, but okay. So you took pictures.
I think I did, and then, I may have to see if the $9 a month plan actually works, but the only, or one of the things is they do not. For their, I think they call it their growth program or whatever it is, where they run ads, you gotta be on a $99 plan. And probably the biggest draw is the exposure to is their marketing,
Right, yeah.
so,
And a lot of people are already on school, so like it's good for that.
right.
So it's already good to like have that community. A lot of business people, or a lot of people that are in business are already on school.
Well, no, and there are a lot of communities that are not, like random, like
crafters.
personal growth stuff. One of the biggest communities is a menopause lady, so, well, a perimenopause lady, so there are other things as well, which make me thinking. And so the big picture, the bigger ecosystem picture is eventually I want to help 1 million people practice 1,000 seconds of gratitude
Mhm.
at least once, but ideally every day. So we're doing 1 billion seconds of gratitude. That's like the bigger picture movement. And so, which is also the consideration for, um, in my mind, I call it partnering with other platforms where people already are. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, right, one of the reasons why school is so good is because they did such a good push, such a big push to get people on the platform. And I do see a resistance to social media and a thing of like, people are like, it's too much on social. But at the same time, I'm also just seeing that too much is now transferring over to another platform.
Right.
And
Yep.
so if you're not careful, you're gonna push people away. But I don't think that your people would be like that. They seem like they are gonna be hungry and ready to engage. So okay, this makes sense. So then, like, let's talk about timelines. And I have in the book, I have a structure. We can move back over there. I have a structure that I use to map out timelines of what to include, what's good best practices, what makes sense. Obviously, everything is subject to change in terms of logistics. And you also have a copy inside your folder of this as well. I need to actually pull this up. I've been doing this before. So I do provide a timeline cheat sheet.
Now there's another, just a quick heads up, there's another reservation
Yes.
at 1.
Oh, at 1?
Yeah, there
Oh,
was
no,
one
they-
at 12,
oh.
but
They didn't.
apparently they're not
Okay.
coming.
Yes, take a snack break if you need to. Yeah, and we should, this part will go a little faster. But keep your questions coming. You're welcome, Megan. Glad you enjoyed it. All right, so we're gonna do timelines next.
Actually, God, do I have
Oh, yes, check your calendar.
another?
Find your thing.
Yeah, if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist, but, all right, I'm good.
And then if you have your copy of the book, this timeline you can find here in chapter 8. And then if you have downloaded a copy of the timeline cheat sheet from the book bonus website, which we haven't even talked about, that's another option to elevate the experience, is providing a book bonus website that has other.
Yeah, I have that in the
items.
book. Of course,
Okay.
potentially those bonuses may be potentially hosted in the community.
Mhm.
Um,
That would be smart.
uh, but yes, the plan, like the tracker, as of now, and I can change it in the book still, 'cause, yeah, before. In the book, it talks about the tracker. I forgot what, I think that's definitely the main thing that's mentioned multiple times on that bonus website.
Okay.
Um,
So a digital copy of the tracker?
mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
printable.
So this would be a good opportunity to use AI. I know Conrad's very receptive to AI usage, is to make it something they can use that's like interactive. Because
Yeah, so I built that's a whole nother,
yeah, we haven't even gone into
another whole nother thing we can,
yeah, but that would be good because then people can have something to sorry, I'm trying to do 2 things at once. That's a good option to use because you can make it more interactive to use with that.
yeah, I have a gratitude tracker that I already built. That is, so I've used I say Google Sheets, a
Mhm.
Google form for years and years and years. I think my first entry from that Google Sheet is from maybe 2014 or 13 or something.
Mhm.
And so I have a Google form that, of course, populates a Google Sheet that is my digital gratitude journal. And so basically, I have, and actually I shared that on Threads
Okay.
some time ago, and people really liked it. Um, uh, and so I built a version of that is, a technical, that is a standalone version.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. And I'll put the link to this. Yeah, I mean, that's a great tool. Let me respond to you. That's a great tool to use because people are more likely to read, review, and recommend your book. If they actually interact with it, they're doing the concepts from it, they are using the strategies. And so on here, I'm screen sharing for y'all. Let me know if you can see that. This is my pre-order timeline cheat sheet. And so you can get a copy of this at, I'll put the link in the chat in a minute, or in the description if you're watching this on replay. And so this is like a high level of what you could or should be doing at the intervals of your book. And so that way you can check it out.
2 to 12 months. Yeah.
Yeah, and wide ranges, because in other spaces, like in the traditional publishing space, you might have 2 years of where you're working on your book.
Right.
And I know,
Well, I've been working on this book for 2 years.
right, and then you've been working on the books for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And so, so yeah. All right, we are gonna pause here, and I think that's the reservation. All right, we're gonna pause here. Hi. This is fun. Okay. All right, we're gonna transition to another spot. Let's see. Good, how are you?
I'll stay, but I'm be talking.
And you can erase that too, so it's in. Okay, okay. All right. Let's see.